The headlines of this hour on VTV News. Vietnam puts efforts into reducing pressure on exchange rate. Later on, Ho Chi Minh City holds dialogue to remove difficulties for maritime and inland waterway businesses. In our world news, EU leaders agreed to €100 billion in common defense industry package.
Broadcasting from Hanoi, the capital of Vietnam. VTV News starts right now.
Good morning. It is currently 8 a.m. local time and you're tuning in to 30 minutes of VTV News. I'm Lin Lei with the latest updates. Now, during his visit to China on March the 22nd, Lê Hoài Trung, Secretary of the Communist Party of Vietnam CPV Central Committee and Chair of the CPV Central Committee's Commission for External Relations, had meetings with Kai Chi, Standing Member of the Politburo, Secretary of the Secretariat, and Chief of the Central Office of the Communist Party of China CPC, and Wang Yi, a Politburo member and director of the Communist Party of China Central Committee's Foreign Affairs Commission Office and Minister of Foreign Affairs. At the meeting, Lê Hoài Trung briefed the Chinese officials on the results of the 3 years of implementing the 13th National Party Congress resolution and major directions moving forward. The party, state, and people of Vietnam, therefore, greatly value the positive developments made in relations between the two parties and two countries across multiple fields since Party General Secretary Nguyễn Phú Trọng visit to China and Party General Secretary and President of China Xi Jinping's visit to Vietnam. On March the 22nd, the National Assembly's supervision team worked with the government on implementing Resolution number 43 on the fiscal and monetary policies for the delivery of the Socio-Economic Recovery and Development Program. They also addressed some other National Assembly resolution on several important national projects from 2023. It is necessary to clarify the practicality, effectiveness, and difficulties when implementing specific mechanisms, particularly in decentralized localities, where they are to be the managing agency for investment in expressway projects in the area and appoint contractors exploiting mining materials. The U.S. Federal Reserve, or Fed, maintains the federal funds rates of 5.25% to 5.5%, which causes the U.S. dollar's value to fluctuate relative to other currencies. In Vietnam, the central bank has net injected more than $2.1 billion into the banking system through the open market operation channel to support capital for commercial banks. Businesses are also being proactive in solving the current global fluctuation.
Faced with global difficulties, this company cannot simply increase selling prices to compensate for exchange rate differences.
We've been closely monitoring exchange rate changes to devise suitable import and distribution plans. This situation has forced us to restructure administration costs and cut profits.
This enterprise is facing another problem. All of its input materials and accessories must be imported. The company has signed a contract with a bank to buy US dollars each quarter.
We often sign contracts with banks where the USD purchase price is determined and fixed. We can ensure that the exchange rate remains stable throughout fluctuations.
So far this year, the volume of US dollars sold at banks has increased by about 1.6% to 1.8%. The increase is temporary, as foreign investment enterprises transfer part of their profits back to their home countries once a year later than normal. The US dollar remains high. This puts pressure on the exchange rate.
Many other currencies in the region have also depreciated strongly against the USD. Vietnam must maintain low interest rates as a measure to support production.
However, the impact of the gold market on the exchange rate cannot be ruled out, as the USD price increased by nearly 4%.
When gold prices increase, foreign currency will be needed to import gold. As the management of this market becomes more effective, it will reduce exchange rate pressure and provide stability to the macroeconomy.
Experts predict that this year's VND and USD exchange rates will hardly exceed 2.5%. Many positive supporting factors exist, including the Fed's tendency to reduce interest rates, export growth, abundant remittances, and the amendment of Decree 24 on gold market management. These will create a more effective and transparent legal framework for managing this market.
Tensions in the Red Sea since the end of last year have caused a sharp increase in sea freight rates, leading to higher costs for businesses. Enterprises exporting to markets like the US and EU are grappling with this challenge to fulfill existing orders and sustain stable production.
Having received new orders in the early months of 2024, this business now faces challenges due to a sharp increase in shipping costs compared to the end of last year. The company reported that last year, freight rates were at $1,800 per container. Now, freight rates and other surcharges have risen to $8,700 per container. Deliveries have also been delayed, as many shipping lines needed to adjust their schedules.
We must restructure our product lines and markets, prioritizing markets in Asia and Southeast Asia. Fortunately, we have long-standing customers who support us during this tough time.
According to businesses, freight rates from Vietnam to the US and Europe are approximately $4,000 to $4,500 per container, with surcharges reaching $1,500 to $3,000 per container. These costs are rising and significantly impacting key Vietnamese import and export products.
Due to the increase in sea freight rates, customers have hesitated or stopped importing our goods. We regularly discuss with customers to understand the situation and negotiate with them to share freight costs to avoid inventory issues.
Regardless of whether Vietnamese export enterprises or foreign importers bear the shipping costs, Vietnamese businesses are facing challenges due to reduced profits. They are also at risk of losing customers who turn to less affected markets for their products.
More than 300 maritime and inland waterway businesses gathered in Ho Chi Minh City to discuss about the difficulties that need to be removed to facilitate import-export businesses. At the conference, representatives from the Ministry of Transport directed the Maritime Administration and related agencies to inspect and review with all parties to remove problems that businesses are facing. The ministry also requested relevant ministries such as the Ministry of Planning and Investment and the Ministry of Finance to support the implementation of policies on investment in seaport infrastructure, inland waterway ports, and transport fleets. After more than 2 years of construction, more than 650 kilometers of the North-South Expressway project's Phase 1 are reaching their final stages. The construction of the last two project sections, Diễn Châu Bãi Vọt and Cam Lâm Vĩnh Hảo, is being accelerated and will be put into operation this April the 30th.
This mountain tunnel, with a length of 2.2 kilometers, is this expressway project's largest and most complex section. The construction has entered the final stages.
We are focusing on maximum resources and working 24/7 to finish the project.
According to the project's management board, the work is 98% complete. The construction teams are finishing the road surface and traffic safety items.
By March 30th, we will have completed all sections and be ready for the launch day.
Other construction units are also determined to follow the plans.
When there are new routes, localities can accelerate their economic, trade, and tourism activities. Transportation infrastructure links localities together.
The North-South Expressway project Phase 2 is also being urgently constructed with 12 sections, mainly in the central and southwest regions. Phase 2 will be put into operation by the end of 2025.
Coming up next on VTV News. early warning system facilitates preparedness for climate risks. And later on, Central Highlands holds great potential for cultural tourism. Welcome back to VTV News Live. Now moving on to other important updates, saltwater intrusion from the sea into the Mekong River Delta is expected to peak during March the 24th to the 26th, according to the Directorate of Water Resources. The Directorate said saltwater with a salinity of 4 grams per liter would likely enter this full moon 40 to 60 kilometers into the Mekong River's tributaries. That is a level that can be harmful to rice crops. Salinity levels in most major estuaries are forecast to exceed thresholds for daily life and production. Localities in the Mekong Delta must strengthen prevention measures and proactively check salinity to ensure production. Due to climate change and global warming, severe drought, saltwater intrusion, and other natural disasters have threatened most countries, including Vietnam. As extreme weather events are complicated and unpredictable, Vietnam has recently developed and utilized an early warning system to improve its forecasting accuracy.
The World Meteorological Organization recently issued a red alert worldwide, confirming that 2023 was the warmest year on record. El Niño is gradually weakening, but global weather is poised to transition to La Niña in the second half of 2024. Natural disasters are forecast to be more complex and unpredictable.
The rainy season in Vietnam peaks between September and early November. During this time, heavy rainfall and severe floods are common in central and south-central regions. Storms and heavy rains will get worse at the end of the year.
Early warning systems and forecasting are important in reducing the impact of natural disasters as they provide advance notice of potential hazards. The National Center for Hydrometeorological Forecasting has utilized a real-time flash flood and landslide warning system to improve the quality of weather forecasts and warnings.
The National Center for Hydrometeorological Forecasting has outlined the new systems in last year's rainy season. This system allows us to establish an integrated early warning system and create a comprehensive risk zoning map for landslides and floods.
Early warning systems facilitate communities' preparedness and effective response capabilities to climate-related risks and hazards.
With high technology, early warning systems detect and inform at-risk communities before disasters, enable early action, save lives, and reduce the impact of disasters.
The catchline for World Meteorological Day 2024 is "At the frontline of climate action." The effects of climate change are already visible and will be catastrophic unless all countries act now.
During the Điện Biên Phủ campaign, with the spirit of all for the front, all for victory, soldiers and civilians in the military Region 4 contributed huge efforts to the battle. Many of them walked under the rain of bombs and bullets to transport guns and artillery shells to the battlefield. Talking about this support in his memoir, Điện Biên Phủ, Historic Rendezvous, General Võ Nguyên Giáp wrote that it's a precious gift for the Điện Biên Phủ campaign.
This M101A1 howitzer was seized by military Region 4 soldiers in a campaign in Laos. 70 years ago, the French army equipped a company with howitzers for their battles in Laos. Division 325, the main unit of military Region 4, destroyed all enemy forces and captured 4 M101A1 howitzers and 950 artillery shells.
After hearing the report, General Vong Nguyen requested Interregion 4 to urgently transport shells and artillery to the battle in Dien Bien Phu.
Artillery pieces and artillery shells captured from the enemy were crucial for the war. Being transported for thousands of kilometers under rain bombs and bullets, the artillery shells were among the crucial ammunition supplied for the decisive Dien Bien Phu campaign.
These artillery shells were provided in time. General Vong Nguyen wrote in his memoirs, "This is a precious gift from the rear of Interregion 4 for the Dien Bien Phu campaign."
70 years ago, Nguyễn Cảnh Thìn was then the political officer of the 12th Artillery Battalion under Division 316. He and his men joined the Dien Bien Phu campaign. The support from Interregion 4 to him increased their firepower to destroy enemy bases. The Artillery Battalion paved the way for the infantry to attack and destroy enemy forces.
The artillery was so important. We provided preemptive strikes to annihilate the enemy's firepower and pave the way for our troops to advance. Strikes on the enemy's defense lines all broke their will. This support from our comrades was so important.
70 years have passed, and these howitzers are still painted in the color of the time. The howitzers are displayed at the Military Region 4 Museum as a testament to the historical record of the military art of using enemy weapons to fight the enemy by Vietnam's army and its people.
The art of botanical illustration does more than assist scientists in identifying, classifying, and studying ecosystems in detail. Through these artistic works, people can appreciate the beauty of flora and engage with the natural world in a vivid and appealing manner.
Botanical illustrator and botanist Phie draws inspiration from plants and nature for her paintings. To complete a painting, the artist needs more than just painting skills. Understanding the characteristic of each plant species is also essential.
As we understand and love these species enough, we can illustrate them to convey the message of loving nature, protecting the environment, and appreciating the value of plants in life. This makes it easier for everyone to approach them.
Unlike other art forms that emphasize creativity, botanical illustrators demand precision and detail. Consequently, Nhã dedicates a significant amount of time to finding plant samples during her field trips.
It's now the fruiting season for the hairy-leafed apatong in Ho Chi Minh City. This large tree is planted for shade and landscaping. I will focus on drawing its wide canopy and the beauty of its fruit.
This form of art is relatively new in Vietnam. Phie was a pioneer, being the first to organize a domestic exhibition.
I want to introduce the value of trees and plants to people to raise their awareness about protecting these species in nature.
Botanical illustration blends art and science. It provides viewers with a sense of authenticity, while each painting also communicates a message about nature and biodiversity conservation.
The Central Highlands boasts a diverse culture enriched by various ethnic groups. Thus, the region has huge potential for cultural tourism development. To attract more tourists, the authorities have coordinated with local ethnic people to breathe new life into folk performing arts and diversify tourism, as this is the best way to preserve and promote the local culture.
The local Ada people reenacted traditions and rituals within the ceremony as part of joint efforts to preserve and promote the local culture. The ceremony offered tourists interesting insights into the local history and culture of the Ada people in the Central Highlands. In addition, tourists could admire the exquisite art of Ada's brocade weaving, local cuisine, and traditional architecture and immerse themselves in a campfire ambience throughout the night.
International tourists prefer experiencing the local culture authentically, such as communicating with the Ada people to learn about their culture. Therefore, local ethnic people have made efforts to preserve their traditional houses.
The woodland edge of Duc Huy Special Use Forest is home to 28 ethnic groups in Duc Har District, Kon Tum Province. A fashion show took place here to introduce the Ada people's culture. Here, ethnic performance troupes showcased the beauty of their traditional costumes by reenacting their daily lives.
I want to bring cultural integrity into fashion. Inspired by indigenous cultures, I incorporated materials from ethnic cultures to create distinctive designs. And local ethnic people are the best models. Wearing my designs, they could express their true selves through folk dances. Integrating folk culture into various art forms is the most effective way to make it popular and thrive.
Village heads, reputable people, and young people are key to cultural preservation in the Central Highlands. Diversifying tourism products and integrating folk culture into different art forms are expected to boost local tourism and generate income for local communities.
The Discovering the Great Ground Mountains Sathe 2024 paragliding competition has begun in Kon province. This year, the competition has attracted over 120 domestic and international pilots, competing in two categories: precise landing and cross-country flying. The cross-country flying category has been elevated to an international event, enhancing the competition's prestige and providing Vietnamese pilots with opportunities to compete globally. The organizers aim to sustain and develop paragliding as a form of adventure tourism. They also promote local culture and history alongside sporting events, aiming to attract tourists to Sathe district and leverage the region's potential and advantages. Coming up next in our world news. EU leaders agree on 100 billion euro common defense industry package. And later on, Russia will retaliate if the EU uses profits from Russian assets to arm Ukraine. Now moving on to our world news, EU leaders have agreed in principle to confiscate the large majority of the profits generated from frozen Russian assets and give them to Ukraine. The proposal could generate 3 billion euros this year. On Thursday, at the end of the first day of an EU leaders summit in Brussels, the European Commission's President Ursula von der Leyen said the first billion could be released to Ukraine by July. She also revealed that the EU is considering increasing tariffs on Russian and Belarus grain entering the EU market. In addition, EU leaders agreed to create a 100 billion euro common defense industry package to boost the European defense industrial and technological base and foster cooperation on defense procurement. During the Friday summit, the EU also discussed migration. Last year, about 375,000 illegal migrants reached Europe across the Mediterranean, mainly by boat. Kremlin spokesman Dmitry Peskov said on Thursday that Russia will take retaliatory measures in accordance with its own interests and use every legal mechanisms at its disposal if the European Union or EU use its profits from frozen Russian assets to buy arms for Ukraine. He added that if implemented, such plans would destroy Europe's reputation. The Russian Foreign Ministry also warned that Moscow would retaliate by seizing assets belonging to the US, European countries, and other nations if its property is confiscated. Doctors from Massachusetts General Hospital in Boston announced on Thursday that a 62-year-old man with end-stage renal disease has become the first human to receive a new kidney from a genetically modified pig. The patient is recovering well and is expected to be discharged soon. The 4-hour surgery performed on March 16th marks a major milestone in providing patients with more readily available organs. The kidney used in the new surgery was modified using the gene editing technology CRISPR-Cas to remove harmful pig genes and add certain human genes to improve the kidney's compatibility with humans. Gene editing technology can also deactivate innate viruses found in the pig genome that could hypothetically infect a human recipient. For years, only the most intrepid of hikers and campers would brave the trips into Iraq's desert. But with the rise of social media and a period of relative stability, it has become a popular destination for those seeking not only adventure and off-roading, but also tranquility in the vast, barren landscape.
On a crisp winter weekend, around 20 campers set up their tents amid the serene dunes. The air filled with the aroma of carp grilling over a smoky wood fire, as the hikers prepared to feast on Iraq's national dish, marsgoof.
I advise everyone to experience this and get away from the city and the daily routine, and go to a quiet place with friends. You will discover that the experience is very beautiful.
While Jazairi encouraged people to explore the country's vast sandhills, he also warned that people should not go alone.
We have contacts with specific agencies if traveling to a specific place needs a security clearance. Most of the desert area in Basra or Samawa or Nasiriyah does not need it. But it is needed in Amara or Tib regions because they are closed security areas. We need to inform local authorities ahead of time.
A single trip can bring together a group of up to 30 people, typically men, in the conservative country where women would not normally take part in such activities.
Love for the desert is a love for isolation, the love to get away from noise and pollution. To be in a place where you experience kind of a primitive way of life, you have nothing available with you. So you have to be fully equipped.
Iraq's soaring summer temperatures, often surpassing 50 degrees Celsius, mean these arid adventures are limited to wintertime. Campers still need to remain vigilant, as some areas are still riddled with mines, while the borders with Saudi Arabia, Iran, and Syria are intersected by routes used by drug traffickers or jihadists.
Up next, let's have a look at the weather forecast for Vietnam and the world. And that is all that we have for this hour on VTV News. To rewatch our program, you can visit our website or YouTube channel or download a mobile app VTVgo for more. Thank you for watching, and goodbye for now.